You want to make your first touch with your influencers in this program as frictionless and fun and as engaging as possible. It's interesting. You can really see how influencers who are at the cutting edge of social media are talking about your brands, what's resonating with audiences, what's driving them to purchase. Your customers are potentially incredible affiliates as well. With influencers, it really is keeping them inspired and engaged in the community. I'm Meredith with ZeroTo1, VP of Marketing and Operations, and lead our influencer affiliate department. I'm joined by Nate Ivie from Tune. You want to give a quick intro, Nate?
Yeah, I'm VP of Business Development at Tune. I handle all things new business, partnerships, and plenty of things in between.
Thank you. Well, thanks for joining us. I think, the intent today with this is just conversational. Our agency is really excited about sort of the convergence of influencer marketing, affiliate marketing, and the growth of these sort of owned communities, influencer, affiliate, ambassador programs. And really excited to kind of dig in with you. Tune's been a great partner for some of our work, and really see you as one of the sort of leaders in the space, and excited to dig in. I know you've got some questions, and we'll make this conversational and hopefully informative.
Yeah, I'm excited. Definitely love the work you guys do, and excited to ask you some. Definitely have a list of questions for you about this whole influencer affiliate ecosystem and how you guys go about things.
Yeah. Well, could you give maybe some context for folks that are learning more maybe about sort of software partners, the affiliate space? How did Tune start? Where kind of is the business now? What sort of is your main sort of piece of the market and your sort of approach to affiliate marketing?
Yeah. So Tune's been around for about 16 years now. And we originally, some people didn't know us originally as Has Offers way back in the day. Originally developed as a software tracking tech for affiliate networks to manage all their affiliate relationships between advertisers and different affiliates, whether it's media buyers, sub-networks, influencers, bloggers, whoever. And we've rebranded to Tune nowadays, and we actually can handle a bunch of use cases now, mainly being advertisers who are running private programs, so running more niche influencer private programs, and then even moving towards dealing with mass media partners and some of the larger partners in the space, like a Skimlinks or a Honey or someone like that, so advertisers can run their affiliate programs, manage their affiliate programs using our technology.
It's an incredibly powerful platform, and we'll get into this I think a little bit as we go. But we're working closely with the Instacart team on a Tune program, Instacart Tastemakers. It's been running for just over coming up on a year and a half now. Has been a really fun program to stand up, sort of at the intersection of partnerships, commerce integration, and affiliate. And definitely, I think Tune has been a great partner because of that depth of experience and sort of the work with publishers, but also influencers and sort of emerging markets as well. So super excited to dig into all of that.
Yeah, I kind of want to just dig in. We just go through some of the questions I have for you because I want to learn more about you guys. Are really the experienced ones in the operational aspect of these affiliate or influencer affiliate programs. From high level for you guys, how do you see affiliate programs and how they're valuable in today's economy, just affiliate as a whole, and we can dig into the influencer subset after?
ZeroTo1 is performance and growth marketing agency. So what we do with that performance mindset, we tend to work mostly with growth marketing teams, although a lot of our work has now started to cross over into partnerships and brand teams as well. But we're really there to partner with, startups, scale-ups, and certainly larger companies that are looking to unlock new revenue channels, new distribution channels, and really kind of figure out how to exponentially grow their business. Our collective team's sort of background, very entrepreneurial. We like to say we don't come from traditional marketing backgrounds. All have been on the brand side and really lead with that sort of mindset, love working in startup and scale up environments. And so we really built an agency ultimately that we always wanted when we were on the brand side, like a really scrappy, results-oriented agency. Influencer affiliate has been around for some time now, but I think a turning point that we've noticed in our conversations with clients is like post iOS, certainly like there's been a shift, media buying teams, growth teams like need to find ways to have more control over their distribution. And I think affiliates and influencer affiliate is a really unique opportunity to like own your own sort of network ultimately of channel partners and control those terms and ultimately have like full sort of transparency on the reporting and attribution side of things. We've seen a lot of momentum on that side. I think there's definitely been a turn in sort of certainly fast growth tech and in other companies towards program profitability. I think the sort of growth at any cost mindset has started to dwindle a little bit, and probably for the best. And there's definitely a push towards making sure these programs are ultimately sustainable, which means that they are not only like ROAS positive, but also driving true revenue and profit into the companies. So again, affiliate's nice because it's performance-based, like everybody wins when conversions and sales are driven through the program. So the underlying mechanics of these influencer and influencer affiliate programs, they set up marketing teams for success. And we also see a lot of potential in the sort of insights that come out of them, leveraging them into other sort of channels, whether it's, paid media strategies, content pipelines. Like there's a whole world of sort of like secondary value that comes out of the programs as well.
Yeah. And you mentioned performance-based being affiliate, which I think is great, especially in, the economy today. You're going to see ROI when you're focused primarily on performance-based, but also context. I feel like that's one of my favorite things about affiliate marketing is there's context surrounding what the user is searching about or reading about. It's not just a random banner ad somewhere. And I feel like that's where influencers and creators really fall in nicely with this, is they have, whether it's their fitness influencer or a skincare influencer or whatever, like brands and products fall into the context of what they influence about and create about. I know one of the topics that we wanted to discuss was like how influencers and creators are embracing affiliate marketing. And I feel like I had a clarification on that because I've actually read a bunch of articles that they're totally embracing affiliate marketing, and other articles that are saying there's influencers and creators are anti-affiliate marketing. When, from your experience, where influencers think of quote unquote affiliate marketing, do you think that they're more thinking of the concept of just tying sales to a campaign and seeing what the performance is? Or are they thinking more of it as the performance-based payout concept of affiliate marketing?
Yeah, it's a really good question. And I think I kind of wish we could kind of rebrand the way we talk about this space as an industry in general. For us, we find the most success with influencers that evaluate these programs and approach them as a partnership. And so it's really important, that I think the influencer is genuinely engaged with the products, psyched about the brand, and willing, to do some of that, because there is some risk. I do think certainly talent reps and some influencers see it as you're not paying me. There's no, I'm carrying the risk. It's just a performance-based payout and some product seeding. It's like product seeding on steroids, and to some degree it is. But I think the best program sort of operators understand that psychology, are looking for influencers, that are going to be successful, which means for us not just top of funnel awareness and good brand alignment. And they need to have brand alignment, but it's, engagement, really understanding how they can drive clicks to the site, what other channels also of distribution. I think, what is an influencer in this context is also it's not your classic influencer with 100,000 followers, although they can be successful in these programs, and many of them are massively successful. But we also see a lot of programs with, I'll give you an example. We work with a lot of food, wellness, health sort of brands like Instacart, Sakara, Hexclad. In those communities, some of our top performers are quote unquote influencers with on social media less than 10,000 followers, but they're practitioners in some way or shape or form. So they may be a dietitian or a fitness consultant, or they have other distribution channels where they're sharing their discount codes and affiliate links. So, I think what's cool about these programs is it allows you to like learn more ultimately about who's aligned with your brand, who's going to help you actually, expand word of mouth, and sort of test into some different segments that you might not have, typically thought about. So I do think influencers, maybe there's a little bit of negative sentiment. And I think it's just the way we overcome that is really by taking a partnered sort of one-to-one approach, understanding what it is that they feel like they need to be successful in the program and making sure that they have resources behind them.
Yeah, you mentioned something just now I was thinking about, but I didn't actually write down this question, so I'm glad you brought it up, is like so you're saying, when you think of an influencer, you're like Kim Kardashian or whatever, right? But then you just mentioned some successful influencers that are, less than 10,000 followers, but then you also mentioned different distribution channels. Like how often are you seeing influencer creators have distribution channels outside of just traditional TikTok or Instagram or wherever? Like how often are they having email lists or their own blog or whatever it might be that they fold into their offering essentially?
I would say it's not like a must-have, but the more successful sort of influencer affiliates that we work with either have a very dialed like channel. So they're very prescriptive in the way that they talk to their audience. It's, sometimes you'll see it's like they're just an LTK influencer or they're just an Amazon influencer. Or they're really, Instagram is their channel and like their links are stacked out and like they have a method to their madness around that. That certainly is the case in some instances, but I think the sort of, and some of these other, what we've seen with other influencers being successful, certainly in sort of a broader mix, is that they have a website, they have an email newsletter, they have social media as like an added layer of their own sort of distribution, but they're usually driving back to some sort of central medium on their end. Podcasts, also another sort of, channel that's like really, performs really, really well with the right influencer. So what's nice about it is like those links and discount codes are, they can be applied in a lot of different ways. We've also, seen some of our chef creators with Hexclad, like, if they're doing demonstrations, being able to share a discount code or a link on a business card, something like that, people get creative with it. So it's definitely opened up the possibility.
Yeah, that's cool because that's one thing that, I don't think most people would think is kind of similar to some traditional affiliate partners where they will have multiple different ways to promote outside of just their website or whatever it might be, where they'll have their own TikTok channel or they'll have an email list or whatever it might be. So that's kind of this actual similarity that I feel like most people don't equate when you think of influence affiliate and traditional affiliate. But there are definitely differences in how to go about an influencer creator program versus a traditional affiliate program. What are some of those kind of major differences that you guys see?
Yeah, I would say that the two big ones are, traditional affiliate, I would say it's a sort of more transactional, it can be a more transactional sort of relationship where there's a really clear offer, and, a really sort of proven path towards like where and how those links and codes are deployed, sponsor content, linked in various different ways through these networks and sort of publications. With influencers, I think we see definitely an upfront incentive in some way, shape, or form really helps with activation and engagement in the program. That doesn't mean necessarily that there has to be cash on the table right out of the gate, but like really demonstrating value in participating in the program. And that can be obviously like access to like, deep discounts with products or like exclusive product drops, being part of an exclusive community around the brands. Like there are a lot of like really like clear, quantifiable sort of incentives that you can deploy to get interest in the program outside of your baseline offer, as well as like some softer, more community sort of focused things as well. So I think having like a really clear like offer strategy to attract an influencer in is really important. And the other piece of it is that influencers are just a lot more dynamic. The half-life on social content is like next to nothing, as opposed to like a blog, which lives in perpetuity once it's published. So, keeping them engaged in the program is about keeping them inspired, running like monthly limited time offers, giving them different ways to like stay active in the program and ultimately to stay incentivized. We really like to think through like a tiered structure too with our influencers. So they come in, they get a first sort of easy sort of entry level set of offers to work with, acclimatize themselves to the brand, like give them a path to success, right out of the gates, the 30-day sort of progression plan. And if they're successful, bump them up into another tier with a richer offer set. And maybe we open up, some different sort of offers at that level. And then you can kind of tier it out from there, like, any other sort of program where you can, basically the stronger you are from a performing perspective, the higher you go in that. And then, obviously once you have this community built out, being able to deploy monthly campaigns with the entire community and or a select set of influencers, it becomes very dynamic. And I think that's really one of the big pieces, like the community management piece is really crucial for keeping an influencer affiliate community healthy and engaged. Otherwise, you're just in like this net new recruitment, like always on, bringing people in, churning them out, sort of, churn cycle.
Yeah, the community aspect, we're going to for sure talk about that later. I know we have I have a section of like questions related to the community aspect, because I think that's definitely something different that most people probably aren't used to when it comes to their affiliate programs. But as far as, still kind of equating influencer affiliate to kind of more traditional affiliate, I feel like more often than not, at least, people in the industry consider influencers to just be top of funnel partners. And like, should that be the assumption? From talking with you, like you have different influencers that you consider middle or even more bottom funnel type partners. I feel like more often than not, it's just like, oh, my influencers are top of funnel. That's how I should think of them. And that's it. Like, how do you guys approach where they're at in the funnel and different types of partners or influencer partners?
Yeah, I think I was writing back some notes down to this. Like if our agency or I had one personal professional sort of mission, it's like, it really is to convince, marketers, CMOs that like influencers are a path towards direct attributable sales. Like they can drive revenue, they can drive conversions. And I think thinking strategically full funnel around influencer strategies is really important. Influencer affiliate programs are incredible content engines. EMB, social media value, it's there. I think our team, when we go and talk to clients, that's like a secondary sort of benefit of these communities. Like we ultimately are oriented towards performance, towards sales, new customer acquisition, like lift to LTV, really quantifiable metrics that affect the business's bottom line. But like the byproduct of this, obviously, is you're getting a ton of media and it's all relative, like it's very efficient. You're doing it basically on product and commission. From like a CPM perspective, it's not uncommon for us to really quickly see programs like under $1, like incremental sort of CPMs based on the investment in the programs. So it's a really efficient channel for top of funnel and for awareness, but the mechanics of influencer affiliate are definitely about conversion and bottom of funnel. So it just depends on where, I think when we talk to clients, like what their major sort of aims are with the program, and what their goals are.
With influencers, I feel like anytime the topic comes up, it's always, where do I find them? How do I go about recruiting them? It seems super tedious. Like, if you guys found a way to scale out recruitment efforts as opposed to just like individual DMs or emails or whatever it might be, have you mastered that or gotten close to mastering it?
Yeah, well, I think this world is probably like a constant quest towards mastery, but we do have a process and it's pretty dialed at this point. It's an advantage to working with, a partner, an agency partner, is that we can do that at scale rather quickly. And take on sort of the brunt work. Net new recruitment is a healthy part of our strategy. So we do, when we stand up these programs, there are a few different ways you can recruit in. Some are more efficient than others. But I think when we're building a brand new program and we maybe have some historical data on influencer strategies that have worked well for them in the past, but like ultimately unproven in the affiliate space, we like to test pretty wide. So we build big lists of influencers and have a cold outbound email strategy layered in with DM, where we try to build lists 500 to 1,000 month over month, going out to them basically with an invite into the community and an offer. And that allows us really quickly to validate if the offer is resonating, and if so, with which segments of creators. The idea is to unlock the top of funnel. And then once we get them into the community, we can look at who's actually performing and really like optimize that process moving forward. The other sort of strategies that are like I think like essential and part of something that we talk about a lot is like your customers are potentially incredible affiliates as well. So we've seen a lot of like retention marketing starting to come into this space too. So the referral loyalty programs being a springboard for these communities is something that we talk a lot about and have started to kind of implement as part of like an end-to-end program build, where, you know, if we can stand up a really simple referral loyalty program where the name of the game is like, you get a link right after you check out with us. It's unique. It's for you. Use it to drive new customers, and it's like really attractive, get sort of store credit mechanics. Like simple referral program like that can do really well, and then the exit path on the back end of that can become an invite into the ambassador community. That's super scalable because that can all be, you know, it's enabled by software and it can be automated with specific criteria and like email flows, and that becomes a great pipeline in. The other big piece of this is like, especially with larger companies, the big frustration is like these affiliate marketing, partnerships, brand and influencer, they tend to be siloed efforts and departments. And there's a lot of synergy between all three of those efforts. And so if we can look at like, if a product seeding or PR team has been running a campaign over there, can we look at top performers from product seeding efforts and invite them in and say, hey, thank you for participating in this past campaign with us. Like, we'd love to establish a longer term relationship with you. Here's what we can do, and use that as a way to kind of continue the relationship and get them into the program. So, you know, there are a lot of different ways to kind of recruit in. Same with paid influencer. There's sort of like the ability to put a performance piece behind, you know, those relationships where they're not only getting paid a flat fee, but also uncapped commissions or capped commissions as part of their compensation strategy can be really effective. So yeah, there are a lot of different ways to like build these communities. But we definitely recommend going wide with recruitment, at least early on, until you understand, you know, who's going to actually convert.
Where do you think the different influencer platforms fall in that recruitment space? Are you presenting an offering that they just make available to that influencer base? You're hoping someone picks it up? Or are you digging through and recruiting through those platforms? Do you use it at all? Like, where do the influencer platforms that are more tech platforms come into play in that recruitment regard?
Yeah, I mean, on the list building side, for sure, we definitely lean on, you know, a mix of social listening tools on that front, as well as like networks that are available through our software partners. So, you know, that's part of it, certainly. So we'll look at top influencers that have worked with them in the past, or lookalikes from competitive companies, and build sort of just using Instagram or TikTok, like using the algorithm, like surf and do some manual building that way. But we can also lean into networks to do some of that as well. And the social listening piece is also really helpful. So if we can look at who's already organically out there talking about the brands, we can apply filters basically to understand like their engagement rates, like what their potential is in the program, and use that as a way to build a list out as well. So there are a few different, I can shout out some different softwares maybe in the notes here, but there are a few different ways to do that. But definitely we try to put a human layer on top of all of it, because I do think the criteria that we look at for the affiliate space would be not as much the follower counts, but engagement rates, and then ultimately some experience in the sort of social selling space. So like, do they understand how to place links? Is there a history of that in their profiles? That's helpful. We can always educate people on that, but like identifying influencers who already understand those mechanics helps.
Yeah. And you mentioned, at least at larger brands, a lot of times some of the teams are siloed. Can you break down what like a growth or affiliate influencer type team would look like at like an emerging brand versus or scale brand? And obviously agency has to come into the mix at some point, right? But like what do those teams look like at a smaller brand versus a larger, more, established brand? Yeah,
it's a really interesting question. Like I don't know that there's like a uniform response here. Obviously smaller sort of brands, scale ups tend to have leaner teams, so we work really well in that sort of like fast growth direct to consumer ecosystem, because we're usually working directly with a small handful to maybe 3 director level sort of people that are directing affiliate marketing or directing influencer, but we're really in there to run the program end to end. And that's, I would say, pretty common. And then, on the flip side, have worked with much larger companies, public companies, and similars have honestly been in similars, because I think influencer affiliate is sometimes this gray zone where those companies don't know exactly how to incubate it, get it launched, or where it needs to live. And so they rely on an external partner to kind of figure some of that out for them, and then help them grow that team and, figure out what the progression plan looks like, which has kind of been the case with our relationship with Instacart. But then I would say there are other brands, like we've consulted a little bit with Sakara, and they're an incredible, their Sakara Circle does an incredible chunk of revenue for their business. Really impressive ambassador team. And, they've got a pretty built out team. They've got a lead, and they have 4-ish coordinators that work on that account as well. And then we can, they work selectively with software and agency partners to kind of optimize the program and to sort of look at emerging opportunities. So it varies. And I think ultimately it comes down to these pieces of the program. So there's the program operations, there's the community management piece, there's some CS, customer support side, which kind of is under community management. And then obviously the overarching reporting, analytics, overall program health, which is a little bit more entrepreneurial, and creative strategy. So the resources that we're giving these influencers, the brand assets, the sort of creative brief, any sort of grab and go sort of materials that we can use to inspire them and help them be successful. So it does sort of cover a wide set of skills in a marketing department, which is why working with an agency is helpful, because we can kind of plug in where they're thin.
Yeah. So you just mentioned the resources. What's the biggest mistake, resources-wise, or a certain part of resources that someone skips over in this process that really comes to bite someone in the butt? Where should someone for sure not skimp on resources when it comes to influencer creator programs?
Definitely think through, you want to make your first touch with your influencers in this program as frictionless and fun and as engaging as possible. So we really focus on that welcome and onboarding process. We want that to feel straightforward, frictionless, as simple as possible. We want there to be clarity. And we also want it to feel human and personable and exciting. Generally, really want to look at what those welcome emails look like, what sort of resources we're giving the influencers right when they join the program to be successful, how we're inspiring them to get active and engaged in the community right out of the gates. Our team spends a good bit of time sort of unpacking that and building that out for our brands, making sure you've got a really good set of FAQs and sort of response built out for influencers as questions come in. That's something that's sort of an always on process. And then once the program starts getting a little momentum, a big differentiator we've seen in the work that we've been doing is celebrating success, sharing winning influencers and concepts and ideas back into the community, because it makes them feel celebrated, but it also inspires and ultimately optimizes the program as you move forward. So a really dynamic, inspired creative process that's always on, monthly sort of drip is really helpful. Some of the best ambassador brands out there that they have monthly webinars, they're hosting personal touch points, doing one-to-one coaching. You want to stay as close as you can to your community while also automating as much of the rote work as you can.
Yeah, and I knew we'd get to it organically, and we did. And we're pretty much getting into the community management aspect that I feel is so much different than traditional affiliate. What is the idea of community management, and why is it important for influencers as opposed to your traditional affiliates?
Yeah, I get it. I think it comes back to the way the social media sort of space works. So as opposed to traditional affiliates where the offers are you're managing a campaign, basically. With influencers, it really is keeping them inspired and engaged in the community. There's a lot of noise out there, though. There's a lot of products. When you find good influencers, you definitely want to make sure you're reinforcing that and helping them be even more successful in the program. So, again, community management, we sort of break down into obviously the systems and processes that we kind of build out as we stand this up. Thinking through those welcome and onboarding flows, thinking through how we're messaging our influencers. Are we building a private Instagram channel or a Slack channel or community hub somewhere where they can interact with each other and with us in sort of a live and more dynamic sort of environment. There's certainly the enablement piece of it, and then there is like the human piece, which is, the little touches go a really long way with influencers. So celebrating wins when you've got like a really top influencer sending some extra product out, paying attention to what they're doing, what's happening in their feed, like it's huge. And we've got a really great team at ZeroTo1, and we've seen like huge success with just like little voice memos, DMs that are really sort of like it goes a really long way. That is the piece that's like hard to scale, which is why there's an emphasis on like really leaning into technology and automations and scale where you don't need that level of sort of like one-to-one.
Yeah. Now, there is some aspect at times I've seen in influencer programs where it's a little bit more transactional as opposed to the community management. Like, is there a place for transactional, or is that just a hard no? It just always go with community?
Yeah, I mean, there is a place for transactional. Like I will say, I mean, TikTok Shop is coming on. We're really interested to see how that world evolves. Amazon also has like an incredible set of influencers. There are like, best in class, like LTK. There are these networks out there that are, at least on the brand side, self-serve. Like you throw an offer up there and then the network or Amazon or TikTok takes care of it, So there are, I think, those strategies. But when it comes to building like a branded community or an army of influencers that are there to support the brand under sort of the brand's terms and sort of conditions, like that is, I think, where the community management piece really is important. And ultimately, you think about it, like they are an extension of the brand. You're working with them so that they can help promote your products and the things that they love. So you want to make sure your approach to building that community is also in line with your approach to brand and community in a larger sense. So there are ways if you want to keep it sort of transactional. I think there are different sort of channels and sort of different networks to lean into there for sure. But we're big advocates. We're community builders and storytellers at our heart at ZeroTo1. So that's what we love to do.
And that's, like you said before, that's very unique to influencer affiliate programs. Right? No, another one that's really unique to influencer affiliate programs is, user-generated content and using that elsewhere, other than just post or whatever. One concept that, if you're in influencer, you know what it is, but that people might not be aware of is whitelisting, the concept of whitelisting. Can you give folks an idea of what that is and why it's important?
For sure. I mean, we, again, maybe because of the performance sort of underpinning, like we're big fans of the like extension and the value that comes out of these communities. So, in this context, influencer affiliate, obviously your affiliates are posting links and discount codes, but it's all pinned to organic content. So sort of the idea of whitelisting would be, on the back end, we can see who's performing well. We can see all of a sudden something must have happened. This creator's like sales took off over the past few days. Trace it back. Actually, we can go look at what happened. Like it was a social media post. We tie media reporting in with the performance reporting through Tune, because we want to look at both the content and the sort of the attribution, sales and conversions, like sort of hand in hand. And that becomes then an opportunity to go and reach out to an influencer. And if it's not already part of your terms and conditions, some brands set it up so that any content posted through their communities, they have usage rights to. Other companies are a little bit more permissive in that, and it's something that they'll go license retroactively. But essentially, whitelisting would be like the opportunity to reach out to top performing content where there's already momentum and signal, and partner with them. Basically the brand puts spend behind their account to boost that organic performance of the ad. Obviously that's then inorganic, but the idea is to, like, if you're already seeing sales, put a little spend behind it and see how far you can sort of scale it and take it. Taking it even further, like leveraging it for paid media, being able to, go reach out to a creator where the content's incredible. It's like super on brand. It's performed really well. It's a great sort of bottom of funnel piece of content. Buy it from them. See if you can get rights to it for a period of time. Use it in your sort of pay media strategies. And then even like at a more sort of qualitative level, it's interesting. You can really see how influencers who are at the cutting edge of social media are talking about your brand, what's resonating with audiences, like what's driving them to purchase. And maybe that uncovers like a concept or a hook or some sort of like product USP that you haven't really tested into in your growth and paid media opportunities and channels. And so then you can go and work with an agency to develop some social ads that are like that or built off of that idea. So there's a lot on the content side, a lot of value that can be driven through these communities.
Like how often I'm seeing more and more articles about like brands working more directly with influencers on like their overall strategy, like as a whole, when it comes to more paid media and just brand strategy. I don't know how often, if at all, are you guys working on anything like that with influencers where they're more involved on the brand side as opposed to just going to them and giving them links or giving them codes? Like how involved are you seeing influencers getting on that side?
Yeah, super. I mean, we're seeing more and more product collabs with top influencers. And like we, in the influencer affiliate world, we like to think about it as like, that's the pinnacle. Like if you're a top performer in this community, like we'll develop products with you. Like we've seen it, you see it more and more at the celeb and macro level, obviously. Like we're working with Happy Viking, which is Venus Williams is a co-owner of. So obviously you've got a built-in ambassador there with equity, with a stake in sort of the performance. And so influencer affiliate is not too far off of that idea. It's really looking at like, who are your best partners? Who's in there selling your product, helping your brand like be successful? Is there an opportunity with the right candidates to develop products with them? And I think like really deep partnership like that is like an X factor. I don't think there are many brands out there doing that. Lily Kumba from Superbloom, who's another agency, we love them. She does a great job, worked at Seed Health and Thrive, and like that's something that she has talked about that they saw a lot of success with at Seed too. So like going deep with your top partners is a really smart strategy. There are affiliates out there that we've seen collabs will sell out in 24 hours. So I think the next level of that is sort of in that brand partnership and collaboration space, and it can be a huge driver of revenue and awareness ultimately for the brand too.
Sure. Now, I don't want to forget, I want to make sure we talk through our partnership and kind of a great example of one of the partnerships we worked through in Instacart and highlight how you guys helped grow that. I can talk a little bit how we were involved, but I'd love to hear from your perspective, what the Instacart Tastemakers program is, how you guys have approached it and everything like that. It'd be awesome. So
Instacart partnered with us relatively early on. They had basically built out a beta version of Tastemakers, this idea of like a social commerce integration, and had tested it on TikTok with TikTok's jump functionality early on. It was interesting because they saw a lot of great engagement with their content, but TikTok was so sticky and is sticky that the conversions on that early beta test were low. People weren't leaving, TikTok to go do their grocery shopping. From a product perspective, Instacart knew they had to create a save functionality. There was some more sort of product work that they needed to do. And we came in right as they were sort of pivoting the program towards sort of a hybrid influencer affiliate strategy. So going back to the drawing board, looking at food content creators that have websites, blogs, where they publish recipe and meal planning content, as well as like social distribution channels. We came in, partnered with Tune to basically build a pipeline of candidates for that program, and went off. Like we just started testing really wide. We sent invites. It is a relatively like one-to-one sort of partnership approach. Like we didn't go out to everybody, but we had some early partnerships. So like we partnered with WordPress, Recipe Maker, Bootstrap Ventures, some like recipe plugins to like pre-integrate, which definitely helped to open up a category of publishers right out of the gate. And then we did also just one-to-one recruiting through emails and some degree of DMing, and basically signed them up to the program. Like the onboarding process was educating them on obviously Instacart and on the commerce integrations, and a simple offer. It's at the end of the day, Instacart Tastemakers is a pretty simple program as it's currently established. We do a rev share on the total cart value sales that come through the recipe links. And essentially what Tastemakers is like it's a little widget that gets installed on a recipe website or plugin, and it can scrape the ingredient data out of the recipe and create a shopping cart experience off of the back end. We also have like a shoppable list functionality, which allows people to like curate a set of ingredients that can get shipped to Instacart. And it's really simple. On the back end, people sign up to custom integration with Tune. So it's a really beautiful Instacart branded portal, but it's all powered on the back end by Tune's links and payment sort of structure. And it's a seamless integration. So that I think one of the big sort of benefits of working with Tune was that sort of flexibility and the ability to kind of really customize that program. And it's been growing sort of incrementally for the past year. And we've seen a lot of success in the meal planning space. Obviously, inspiration is like one piece of the community, but that intent to shop, that intent to purchase is where we've been leaning in from a recruitment perspective. So if people are meal planners, and that's now included like some apps and developers on that side, that's kind of where the program's going. And to the point too, where we've in sort of our work over the past year with the tastemakers have identified even more product functionality that Instacart is now sort of developing and turning into this totally new set of sort of commerce integrations, which I think they'll be announcing in the next couple months here. So I can't spill the beans on that yet, but it's been a really fun program to work on. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been fun to watch because we were obviously involved in the early iterations of it, and seeing them utilize the flexibility of our platform and all the different APIs that we have that are really above and beyond what other platforms can offer. Seeing someone really leaning into it and building an entire platform or program on top of our platform has been really fun, and seeing the custom integrations and the success of it has been really awesome. And then, seeing the success, especially after bringing you guys on, has been awesome too. So I think it's been a really good partnership, three-way partnership all around with a great brand and great tech and great services. So a fantastic winning case study there for sure.
For sure. And pushing, like I said, I love it because it's pushing the boundaries a little bit, I think, of that space. It really more of, again, that product partnerships, commerce integration with an affiliate sort of underpinning to it. It's really cool. It kind of shows how far affiliate can really move in a business.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Well, I know we're at time and we both got meetings we got to jump to.
We're at time.
All right. Thanks, Nate.
Hey, thank you.
Yeah, we'll talk soon.
All right. Awesome. Have a good weekend.
Yeah, you too. Bye.
Bye.